back for another Thrift Rescue Wednesday. I am sorry that I missed last Wednesday, but I couldn't get my GoPro to work and it wasn't charging and I was having issues. And then by the time that I could finally do a solution, it just ended up being better just to cancel it. But it's good because that means today we have double the stuff. Can you believe it? I definitely can because I definitely missed last week. On that note, let's get started. I actually didn't do thrift rescuing at Goodwill. Not Goodwill, at Red, White, and Blue. So this stuff came from Goodwill, and then I took a trip for Memorial Day. We went to Geneva on the Lake, and I hung out for a couple of days, and they had a ton of vintage shops there, so I got a whole bunch of stuff from there. And then I do still have earthquakes. Then I do still have some of the glassware that was from the previous week. Yeah, so let's get into it. Let me show you the jewelry that I got first. So this first one was a cute little tiny pin. It ended up being really kind of nice and vintage, although I actually ended up getting this because I was buying something else at the shop and they had a card minimum and I wasn't meeting it, so I ended up getting this guy. There's a little bit of wearing and I don't know how I'll end up being able to fix it up, but I thought he was kind of a unique, cute piece. Yeah, I feel like this would be really cute to almost make into a knob or something like that. Yeah, so I ended up getting him and he's gonna need a pretty good cleaning. But adding to my ever-growing pin collection, at this point in time, I feel like the channel might need to be renamed Put a Pin in It. No. Let me show you the other two that I got. So this is actually the one that I ended up getting at the same store as this one, but that I needed to add that one because I think this was only $5 and it was like a $10 card minimum. And I didn't actually notice until I got home that it's missing rhinestones, but I really like the scissors just because sewing and crafting, and I use scissors a whole lot. I like scissors. Yeah, I thought they were kind of cool. I don't know if me sharing the fact that sometimes I do just take my tiny scissors and actually literally try and find split ends in my hair and just snip them. Um, but I use scissors a lot, so I liked the pin. And then I got two more, and this was at an interesting store too, and I had no idea that they weren't cash, that they were cash only. Because it was a legitimate store, and it wasn't until I was getting there to go and actually check out that they were like, yeah, we're cash only. I was like, oh, you should have a sign. You should definitely have a sign that says that you're cash only. And a lot of things were so overpriced. I'm not going to say that I was going around and Googling some items and seeing what the same items were going for eBay, but I did do that quite a bit, and they were definitely pricing them as if people weren't going to price compare whatsoever. But hey, I mean, it is a touristy destination spot, so I'm sure that they have people who don't price match. But I ended up getting two pins as well as one other little guy that I'm going to show you here in a second. But this one is a really cool little fly, and I loved the way that he ended up being designed. I just think that he looks very bold and in charge and really, really cute. And then there's this one that is, I think, going to be one of my favorite pins. And I know that I've been collecting butterflies, so you've seen a ton. So these little insects can go on a little ribbon with them, but I really just liked this moth, and I thought that it was just so pretty the way that it was done and the way that it was painted. And I don't feel like moths get enough love in their life. So I was really excited for him, and he's adorable. So I got these guys, and these I am keeping for my personal collection forever. Speaking of that store, I actually got two other things. So one of the things that I got are these absolutely darling miniature coins. And I know that it says my retirement fund. I think that that was really funny. There was a lot of them like my allowance and my paycheck and everything else. But they're just tiny little adorable mini coins, and I thought that they were absolutely darling, and I love miniatures. And I don't know if I'll use them for a photograph, only because I am legitimately worried that these are so tiny that if I take them out of the packaging, I would lose them. And I don't know how many minutes I would still have them after they came out of the packaging, so I've got a tough decision to make. Um, but so I got these guys, and then the other little thing that I got that was really cool was this tiny, adorable little rabbit. And I ended up paying way too much. I think I paid like $10 for him, which, like, you know that I do not like paying a lot for my stuff. But this cute little rabbit is absolutely darling and holding its own little pumpkin. So I really liked him and I thought that he was adorable, and I can't wait to add him to my Halloween collection. Although there's a part of me that thinks that he might kind of just end up going on a shelf and then I'll just keep him there and just like be like, hey, you stick around. You're cute enough to stay around all year round. Although I'm not sure. Maybe I'll just keep him out until this Halloween and then put him away with all of the other stuff. But he was cute. That was all of actually my jewelry and all of that stuff. I will go and show you. Oh, I probably should have grabbed the dress that ended up being way too big because there was a ton of yard sales. Whenever we were driving around, it was almost like everybody was having a yard sale. I guess it was Memorial Day weekend. Although we went to one place who, like, the mom was going into a like long-term care facility, so they were selling some of their stuff. I ended up buying like a dress that I thought was kind of cool, and the woman who like was selling it to me was the daughter, and she was like, "Oh, I wore that dress constantly whenever I was in the '90s and I was a little young thing like you." And I was like, "Okay, okay." And then I got home and I tried it on, and I was like, "So I guess if I ever gain enough weight, I will just look forward to being able to wear this dress, and I will just hold on just in case one day I'm bigger." Although I don't know how long that's going to last with the amount of clothes that I have in my house, or I just need to find someone who is actually big enough to fit it. Although I'm in one of those problems where I don't actually know anybody that is just one size above me, so I'm gonna have to find someone. Um, but so I got that, and let me go and think if I got actually anything else that wasn't. No. So I ended up buying the dress and then they had stuff for free. So they actually had it was like a little bag and it had salt and pepper shakers, and it was in like the free category, and I was like, "You're cute," because I saw these little guys that are darling, and I was like, "These are kind of right up my alley. I like them. They've got a really cool feel, especially with this like tarnished kind of like beaten up tops." So I really liked them, and they do definitely feel very, very vintage. Um, so I got these guys, and then these also kind of came with them. It was, again, another salt and pepper shaker, but I kind of like that these have like Senfedendies vibes. But they do have quite a few of like nicks in them and stuff. I haven't actually put any like wood oil on it to see if I can get some of like the nicks to like come back up and like revive the wood a little bit. But I think that these have such a '70s feel to them. I don't know. I really like them. I'll probably put these in my prop category. Although they had salt and pepper in them, and I was like, guys, do you not know that if you're gonna throw like spices and seasonings and things, and if it doesn't have a cap on it, that you just take the stuff out before you put it in a bag? Whenever I got home, I like opened it up and like I was sneezing, and then by like I would say about 30 seconds later, my boyfriend in the other room just started sneezing and sneezing and sneezing, and I'm like, "Yep, it's all of the salt and pepper that just went in the air." But he was actually really cute, and while I was dealing with that, I asked him to Google something for me, and he did, which was adorable. Because this was the third set of salt and pepper shakers. It is a little bit hard to see here, but these are actually the Singing Tower. This is in Florida, and it's this like kind of really cool tower, and they have like giant bells up top, and you can go and visit. But it's on this like massive amount of land that's also a conservatory. So I actually really liked that like this the Singing Tower is like a little touristy destination spot and like the place that you can kind of go. But part of the Singing Tower that I think is just really special is that it also protects the land around it. And I don't know if you can get much more out of the building. I mean, yeah, it's very, very cute. Was I going to say that we should make some buildings saints and just have like, look at this building, they're doing fantastic. Look at how we're conserving everything. Um, but yeah, it's really cool. I would also wonder how yeah, architects, that's the word, would feel with their building, and especially because if you can make a building that does more than just the building, that's pretty freaking cool. All right, guys, I'm gonna move on. I'll move on to my other salt and pepper shaker, but this one I got days before I got those guys, and I got them. It was like a really cute little darling vintage shop. There wasn't a whole bunch that I ended up wanting there. Although I almost bought a Mexican perfume funnel for $15, except I didn't need it. And my boyfriend told me, oh, well, if you like it, go get it. And then I also had my other friend, Sarah, there, and she was like, no, you do not need a Mexican miniature perfume funnel for $15. And I was like, well, I'm glad that you were here because I would have bought it after Brian's response. But so it has on these little tiny silver tray that I actually haven't gotten a chance to shine up, although this is only silver plated, so I will have to be careful with it, but I think honestly just a little bit of baking soda will clear it right on up. And then we just have these little guys that do look darling, and I do like how fancy it looks whenever you are presented salt and pepper on a little silver tray. So I got them and I liked them as well. Let me go and tell you some of the other stuff I got at the same store that was there, because I actually ended up finding a big embroidery loop, which is so funny because whenever I was first going to Red, White, and Blue, I saw these almost like every single week there, and I was like, no, I don't need them, I don't need them, I don't need them. And then once I started actually looking for one, I could not find it for the life of me. They still didn't have any today. But I did finally find a larger embroidery hoop, and I'm super excited for it because I wanted to use this to kind of like put fabric in between and allow to like put pins or put something on top of it. Yeah, so I was happy that I actually found one of these, and it's much better because if you remember, I did end up finding small embroidery hoops, but they were like the rubber band ones that were weird, but like kind of cool and much smaller. So I'm glad that I finally got the size that I wanted. The other thing that I got, which was pretty good, because it was like half the stuff was priced and half the stuff wasn't priced, and there were items that were like insanely good deals, and there were items that were just way too overpriced. And I saw this little tiny bag, and you know me and beaded purses. And I saw them and I was like, oh, I love that pretty pastel, and all of the beads are pretty much in perfect condition. And I just thought that he was absolutely so cute. Now, I did not actually make sure that the strap wasn't broken. And at this point in time, if you've been paying attention, I feel like it's the story of my life that I didn't pay attention that it was broken before I bought it. And then I was trying to fix it, but whenever I went to try and fix it, I had the issue where I was severely running the risk of breaking it further. So I didn't want to do that. So we'll have to kind of go and see. I don't actually mind it as a clutch. I also just like looking at my beaded purses, so it's not necessarily as much of a functional thing as much as I just like the little beaded purses, and I think that they're darling. So I got him, and I think he was actually only like $5, which was a really good deal because it was the one thing that wasn't marked. And so whenever I went up with all of my stuff, I was like, hey, like, do we know the price of this one? Like, it wasn't things like I just want to know before, because if it was probably going to be a lot more, I was going to be like, I'm not going to do you. But at $5, an absolute steal, and I was super happy. I also think that just because I was buying so much, he was like, yeah, you can have it. So I got that little guy for $5. And then in the same store, I ended up getting some glassware. I found these really cute little Mexican custard dishes that are yellow, and I'm going to turn them into some candles, which I think will be super darling and cute, and I'm excited for. And then I also got this guy, which I can turn into a candle. However, my boyfriend actually also, I have one of these in greens that are in my kitchen cabinets right now, and out of all of the bowls, it tends to be the one that my boyfriend grabs the first. So I don't know if I just want to keep it because he seems to really like this type of bowl and this shape, which is interesting. Out of all of the bowls that we have and everything, it ended up being his favorite. And I mean, I liked it for the color, and then I needed to find a place to put it, so I just snuck it into our kitchen cabinet. But ever since he found it, he has been absolutely loving it. So I might check with him first before turning it into a candle. But I mean, and these, I don't remember what prices they were, but they were pretty reasonable. I think I got like a set of like 5 of these for like $7, which was a really good deal. And I think this was like $2. So not too bad whatsoever. I'll put that over here. Oh my God, I'm gonna forget stuff over here. So let me actually stop what I'm doing and show you what I got. And this was 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago now, my Lord, at the Red, White, and Blue. You're not gonna actually be able to see this. Just imagine that it's glowing and know that it is uranium glass, and it's actually a pretty darn big platter. Now it does have one chip on it underneath on the back right here, but I actually don't think that you can notice that much. And again, for this Halloween, for the effect, I'm trying to get as much uranium glass that I can put on the table and use for serving wares or anything else to really make it have a visual impact. So if you're a big uranium chunk of glass that I think that I can use for my dinner, I'm getting you at the moment. I think I ended up paying like between like $7 and $10 for this guy. So not too bad, but not amazing or anything. And then let me show you the one other thing, just because I will end up forgetting it. This I actually ended up getting today, and is the only piece that I'm bringing out from the haul that I did today, because I wanted to wear it and see how it fits, so I had to take it up to my room anyways, and I'm just not going to take it back. It's just going to come with this week's. I was not even looking for clothes. I was just in line, ready to go, and hey, going to check out, and then I saw this and I saw that it was my size, and I was like, okay, all right, you are such a cute little pattern that I need to go and get you. So I went and I picked this up. It was originally $5, but I got it for $2.50. So all in all, not a bad deal whatsoever. Now that I dealt with that, let's get back to the class, and that way stay a little bit more organized. But I am terrible at having everything laid out and then actually forgetting it. Oh, that's not bad. I will say that Goodwill does do really good uranium glass, although they actually take their best uranium glass and actually sell them on their online bidding website. But they do tend to get a whole lot, although I'm always surprised whenever I find some, but whenever I tend to find them in Goodwill, like they have chips on them. But I still like uranium glass. Let me go with the one other thing. Yep. So this was another one that I ended up getting there that I'm going to turn into a candle. This is a like original Anchor Hawking measuring cup, and I just really liked it, especially because I know that there's a lot of people who would be like, oh, okay, well, after this candle has gone away, I have a measuring cup that actually gives me like the milliliters, the ounces, the cups, and I think it's marked pretty darn well. So I'm going to turn him into a little tiny candle. The other thing that I got there was this tiny little, I want to say that it's like a sugar bowl. It has these really pretty pastel flowers on top of them. And then it was made in Japan by Mikasa, so Mikasa. And then it has this little top, which I think it's going to be hard to see. And I think that what it's supposed to be is like a like leaf or like flower folded in on itself. For a second, I thought that it was a swan, but it's definitely not a swan after I've been looking at it for a little bit. But he is also going to become a little tiny candle, and he even has a little topper, which is perfect because you get to be like, oh, now I can smell this candle now that I've taken off the top, which you don't get to do whenever there is no top to take off of the candle. But I got him, and he was super duper cute. There, and then, yeah. So that was actually everything that I had gotten from that store. The next one, we went all over the place. There was a church that was having their craft show, although it was filled with MLM companies like Mary Kay and like Scentsy. And I was like, okay, these are a lot of like MLMs, but they were actually getting close to closing down. And they had some like resale thrifting. It was a church. And I ended up getting this little guy, which is Federal Glass. It is a little bit hard to actually see the monogram on it, but a cute little creamer on it. And I was like, yeah, you're going to make a cute little candle. But I was like, oh, I'm just going to buy one. I don't need a whole ton. I'm already doing it. And then she just surprisingly threw in this one. And I was like, actually, I thought that I was getting like an okay deal, but then once she threw this one in, I was like, oh, I just got a fantastic deal. And I absolutely loved it. And she was so cute whenever I was like thanking her to be like, oh, you're giving me two? And she was like, yeah, honey, it makes me that I don't have to carry it back to my car. And I was like, okay, all right, I'm thankful for that. It was a really cute moment with her, and I'm happy that like I got to be out in the community and like talking to people because it helps sometimes. So I got that stuff. Let me go into some of the other stuff that I got while I was up there. This one is actually really, really cool. We were going through some of the thrift stores, and what we did was we found these little books. So what these are actually like time books and accountant books. So this is a Pierce's Memorandum and Account book, designed for farmers, mechanics, and all people. A present from the World's Dispensary Medical Association, Buffalo, New York. And then this first one is actually from 1888. So it was really nice because it has all of these old like little pictures and little sayings, and then you can actually see where someone was actually used it. So this wasn't just vintage, and I kind of like the idea that you can go in like back in time and see their little pencil handwriting. So I just thought that it was such a like very interesting, very cool little moment snapshot in time. So there was that one, and then I guess so this one, it was the time book, and the time book, let me go and see, was from December 1st, 1904 is the first week of this timekeeping record. So in 1904, oh honey, you have so much to go. At this point in time, women couldn't vote. Not at all. So it's just a whole little different view of a world and seeing how they were doing it. And it is interesting, and especially even that you can tell that their actual script writing was just so pretty. Oh, and then it does actually also have some of like, these are like old checks. The taxes assessed for the year 1912 on the following: Hacker Valley District, Weber ones. Oh my God, this was their tax slip, I guess, from October 23rd, 1912. Oh my Lord. So I guess this was their tax receipt? I've never even seen this. I knew that there was a paycheck. I thought there was like a, sorry, for everybody who is watching me at home, I'm sorry that I just took this little tour looking at this. I guess I didn't look thoroughly through it enough beforehand, but I just really liked these little books, and I think I am going to keep them in the bag for now. And oh, well, yeah, I didn't know that. That's interesting. So I got those guys, and I will try and keep good care of them. Speaking of vintage things that I picked up while I was there, I decided that for $16, the truth is, yes, I wanted this Playboy. I wanted to see Marilyn naked in an actual Playboy for $16. I don't know if it's allowed because I think at what point in time is it just art? I think that art is a real thing. It literally folds out, by the way. It folds out. All I'm going to say is that this is amazing. It's also fun to actually go through and look at all of the articles that they have. They actually, in this one, they interview Whoopi Goldberg. They talk about the return of James Bond. Yeah, a dazzling Playmate review. 20Q, the guy in charge of Beavis and Butthead. So 20 questions with him. And it was just kind of fun to go and look through it. It's definitely interesting to see what that culture was like and how they were promoted and the way that they were like talking about almost everything. Let me go and see. And it's fun that if you remember Anna Nicole Smith's heyday, yeah. So I liked it and I thought it was really cool. So I'm glad that I have Marilyn. And it was really cool. The only other thing that I find like so interesting is that you can tell that those images are highly photoshopped. Which is just kind of like, yeah, let's not forget that they were always photoshopping people. But so I got that guy, and that way was really, really cute. And of course, whenever I bought it on the trip, I had to show everybody. So I think I went around showing Marilyn's naked body to all of my friends, be like, hi, would you like to see Marilyn Monroe naked in a Playboy? Everybody said yes. Okay, let me go through the last things because I think that's actually the majority of the stuff that I got on the trip, except for, I'll show you two other things beforehand. This was a little tiny fork set just because I like little tiny forks and I think that they are amazing. And it's just a little tiny fork set, which I thought was cute, and I love miniature forks. So I don't know exactly what I'll be using this for, but I loved it and it was adorable, and I actually think the price wasn't bad. It was like $2. But we were on Geneva on the lake. So we actually did like where we had the little lake house that we rented. You could like go down by like the waters. It wasn't really a good place to like swim or anything, but they did have a ton of rocks. And one of our friends who came, she's a archaeologist, and she was saying how in one of her digs that she had done, and I think it was in England, I might be completely and totally wrong, but she was saying about how like in early Christian burial sites, there really was not like adornment, like they were extremely very, very plain. But I guess they had a belief, or I guess a custom, whenever they were like walking to like the burial, that they would try and find like very, very white quartz. And then they would bury them with a person, and like it would just be like a pile of like white quartz that would be on their chest. And she was talking about how like it's pretty much just like these that you would find that are like white quartz naturally there. But I did not know it, and I thought that it was a really cute story, so I grabbed some white quartz for myself and took them home. It was a fun time. It really was. So let's run through the last. Oh my lord, I forgot that I have another box of that stuff to unpack. Let's run through some of the other glassware, and that way we can get rocking and rolling here. This is just a cute little jar that I'm going to fill with a candle. I couldn't find anything specific about who makes it or anything else, but I think it was like $2. We have this one that kind of goes along with my other set, except this actually has a little etched design onto it. So this one will make a cute little candle, and I do like that the stem is not super duper long, so you don't have to worry about it getting knocked over. That was nice. I did get these two bowls, and again, these are not vintage, but I think that they're fantastic, and if I was looking at candles, I'd be like, yeah, that looks like a cool bowl. But I got these two little, I almost want to call them like seed flowers. Like it looks like flowers just made of seeds. And these are actually Roscher, Roscher, and they were made in China. So I thought that these would turn out to be super cute candles, and I hope they do very well. Yeah. So we'll run through some of them. This is just another little sugar bowl. I do record them and toss them on YouTube. As long as I have the patience and the ability to watch my recordings and painfully edit them, they make their way onto YouTube. But I do have some of mine on YouTube already. Yeah, but thank you. I appreciate the comment and the compliment. This one, I've actually already turned some of these into candles, but I kept one out so that I could show you guys. So this was a beautiful, beautiful blue goblet. Although what's funny is that whenever I found this at Red, White, and Blue, it was like 4 of them for $4 normally, and then I think that they were also on sale, so I got them for $2. And I was like, this is not a 50-cent glass, honey, but if this is how it's priced, I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to try and find like a store manager or something and be like, I actually think that you're underselling this. Can I just give you more money for it? I was like, nope, scan it at the register and sell it to me for the price listed. I did feel a little bit bad. I was like hesitant to be like, hey, I know what it says on it, but like y'all are not marking this correctly, but I'm not going to complain too much. And then I got another little, I think this is another Westmoreland, one of those little hens, which I just ended up getting, which I thought was super duper cute. I think he does have a chip somewhere, so I might try and actually fix him up a bit. um, before turning him into a little tiny candle, because I think this would make for a very cute little candle. Yeah, I like him. I also just find the hens to just be like one of those like iconic vintage pieces. Um, yeah, and then I got this one that this is actually from Avon, if you can believe it. It is this absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous teal slag glass dish, and it has little tiny roses. It was actually called Jade Slag Glass, and the little pattern is Victorian rose on it. And I still cannot get over the fact that Avon was turning out good glassware for so long, and I absolutely love finding Avon things, which I wouldn't have expected, but hey, Avon had the glass. Speaking of Avon and Avon's dishware, at the Goodwill, I ended up finding these little Avon Ruby Cape Cod mugs. These were in production from like 1975 to 1992, so they stopped the year that I was born. But I'm adding these to my Christmas collection of dishware to bring out because I cannot wait the day that I can serve like a Christmas meal all on this dishware. It is going to look so opulent and so amazing, and I am so excited. I may have to host like a fake Christmas one or like a Christmas for like friends a couple days late because my sister has claimed Christmas as much as she possibly can, and she did produce 2 children in the bloodline where I have 0, so she gets Christmas with everybody else. But I will throw another Christmas party just to use my dishware. That's a true story. I really will. We are getting down to, oh my god, there's still a box. I keep on thinking that I'm done, and then I see this like out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that I got another one. Because I just can't get enough glass, clearly. This one is actually a really cool one. So this one is a clear, but this is actually by Fosteria, and it is their, we're not going to use the first word. It's just their clear sugar bowl, but it's like a Baroque. We'll see. It's a Baroque. I like that I'm now just spelling things if I can't pronounce them. It's close enough, right? This is a little ruffle edge, little hobnail white piece. I don't actually think that I'm not sure if it's Benton because it doesn't have a mark, so it might just be a knockoff. But I really liked him, and I think he will turn out to be a fantastic candle. And then whenever you use it as a vase, I love the way that this is going to, it like has a nice coating to it, so it should hopefully make the flowers kind of like fan out without even like having like a frog or anything else in it. I also think that this like, I don't know if I would actually call it like a handkerchief edge, but like kind of. I mean, I guess a handkerchief edge is just one that like looks like a handkerchief. Although I do know that it does refer to specific things. But I liked him a whole lot, so I got him. And then the other one that I ended up getting was, this is another little Fenton silver edged, silver laced little tiny bowl. So he will be a cute little candle. And I think they have good weights to them too. So I'll put that down. We're getting to the teacup. So this little cutie with a teacup is such a cutie. This was the only one they had there, so I picked him up. I think that where did I write him down that I paid for him? He was originally $2, but I got him for $1, which means that I'm balling at this. These actually come from England, from Myott, Myott. So a cute little set, and I think that this will be absolutely darling. I like it. I'm a big fan of it. I actually have a friend who's doing a bridal tea, and I have given her candles that I make a whole lot. Like I've given her like 3 or 4 already. And I don't know if I can give her another one, but how cute would this be as a little gift for a bridal tea? Like this in a candle, to be like, here's your little candle for your bridal tea. I thought that was just, I may have to do this. That poor girl who's just, all of my friends are just gonna have a million candles. It's true. Okay, so this is actually the other thing that I bought from the sale, from that yard sale, and what it is a very old time, I I know. Let me rephrase that. That would not be her main gift. The candle would just be like a side thing. Um, Although I'm actually not giving it for her bridal tea because there's so much going on for her bachelorette weekend and for all of the other events leading up to her wedding. And I was like, what's a bridal tea if you're having all of these other things? But hey, apparently you can have as many events as you want. Which isn't bad. Also, I am in the wedding, which I know that doesn't matter that much, except normally whenever I'm looking at paying for the like weekend away for your bachelorette party and they have us buying all of these different clothes, like we have like tie-dye shirts that we had to buy wigs for it, we have to have like matching outfits for things. Um, and then, of course, I have to pay for my dress for the actual wedding, as well as giving like the actual gift at the wedding that I'll do. So I'm probably not going to give her something super big for the bridal tea, especially because we're doing so much with her for everything else. I don't know. We'll see. I also have never heard of a bridal tea before her, so. Aww. Well, I can understand that. I can understand that candles can be boring gifts. Although, I don't know. I like candlelight, so I do a lot of things with candlelight. So I use candles a whole lot. Also, I make soy candles, which means that they don't actually have any of those like carcinogens. Oh, right? But so they just have these like little tiny Halloween magnets, and I had to fix a whole bunch of them, and the magnets are like so weak that it's almost like comical. But what I noticed is that they actually have like the same pretty much designs on the outside of the box as they do. Where's the other one? As they do for the magnets, that I thought was so adorable and cute. So I got these guys so that this Halloween I will just decorate my little fridge with a little bit of Halloween going in there. Oh, right? I always try and gift usables. I think that usables tend to be the way to go. And if you can believe it, I used to actually be a minimalist and I would try and keep things out of my house because I live in a shoebox. So I always like consumables. Also, maybe I'm just like scarred from my dad, where if you don't give him a consumable, he will never touch anything. And my mom is the type of person who, like, I once gave her a plant and I think it survived for like 3 or 4 years and she made like little other plants, but she like hated the gift because she was like, now I have to water this plant every single day. And I'm like, you don't water plants every single day. And she's like, I don't care. I have to take care of this plant. You gave me a responsibility. You made my life harder. And I'm like, Mom, I'm so sorry that I gave you a succulent for your birthday. I know I will never do that again. We will just buy you little pastries because if you cannot take any other gift besides food, food's gonna be what you get. I know. Oh my God. You should have seen her. She was being a bit ridiculous. She has a dog and a cat and raised 2 children, and yet the succulent plant was like her breaking point, which was cute. Oh Lord, this is gonna be loud. I'm so sorry that I didn't actually take these all out ahead of time. I completely forgot. This was a little vase that I got for myself, actually. So it's not going to be turned into a candle because I just thought the colors were so, so pretty. And I think he was only like $3. And for $3, I would add you to my vase collection. I also just think that it's super fun. Like, these are the perfect Easter vase. Like, yes, give me that Easter vase. So I got that guy. And then I actually got these two. Oh God. Oh my God. It would be hilarious if I gave her another cactus. She's too much. Although what's funny is that she considered that plant to be like, oh my God, this is a lot of work. But she one day like showed up to my house and was like, here's a pumpkin plant. Let's plant them in your garden. And I was like, okay, Mom, showing up to my house with pumpkin plants. Like, I guess you really needed to get rid of these pumpkin plants. And she's like, yeah, I needed to get rid of them. So we planted them. It was fine. And then I would say after a couple of like weeks and months, whenever they were like fully grown, the pumpkins had left my tiny garden bed and had just crawled and crawled and crawled. I think I got like 13 or 14 like big pumpkins. However, I have a tiny yard, so my entire yard became a pumpkin patch. So I could not mow my grass. What I had to do for like half of a summer is literally weed whack my lawn because these pumpkins were so giant. And she still brings it up to this day as me like, oh, let me go get you some more pumpkin plants. And I'm like, Mom, you could not water a succulent, but you gave me like pumpkin plants that overtook my yard and I could not mow my grass. But it's okay. She doesn't have the best of self-awareness. She is a sweet lady though. Um, I got these little tiny cups that I'm just going to turn into little candles as well. And I liked their little tiny handle. I just thought it was really cute. And it's actually like very comfortable to hang things and everything else. I don't know exactly how much I paid for these, but I don't think that they were much. They were probably like $3 or $4 along with everything else. Oh my God, yes. The pumpkins were ridiculous. I ended up inviting people over, and I mean, if I'm being honest, I like started with one pumpkin and I was like, okay, all right, we're gonna go and do this. And then I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go and drink beer and let everybody else make pumpkins. So I literally just like sat on my, laid on my kitchen floor drinking beer while like all of my friends carved pumpkins and dealt with all of them. And I was like, it's too much work, guys. Although we did make pumpkin seeds, which was adorable and really good. I got this little cup. It was a cute little Corning cup. It actually, like, the way that this feels, it feels very silky and smooth and, like, lovely in your hand. It's a really good coffee mug. But I'm going to turn this one into a candle, and sadly, I can't keep everything that I buy, or else I would. We are down to, this is the last item that we have for this week. Oh, and he's a cute one too. So this one was made in Bavaria, Germany, and it has these cute little flowers in it, but whenever you look inside, it has a whole little, like wildflower bouquet going in there, which I just thought was absolutely darling because I do plan on making this into a candle, although I'm probably not going to sell this one. I'm probably going to find someone to give it to because I am an awful gift giver. But I would be excited that like when the candle burns down, you're going to see more and more of this design, which I like. I like it a whole lot. This one was $1.99, which for Goodwill is expensive for a little tiny teacup without a saucer or anything else. But I got him and I look forward to making him. Yeah. Aw. Moose get drunk on them? Oh my God. You have moose? I would love to get my animals drunk. I have some deer in the area, but like, I don't know exactly. And I've got tons of squirrels. We have squirrels that my neighbor feeds them every single day peanuts. However, if she's not on time to open the door and give them peanuts, they come to her little deck and they knock on her door. I am not joking that these like little tiny squirrels demand peanuts from her, almost as if they were like her pets and like the cat. Like I've got a cat who demands attention and pets and brushes every single morning as if he owns the house and that I'm the one paying him rent. But I enjoy how bold the little squirrels are. That is everything that I have for today. I can't believe how many people I had in the chat. This has never happened before. I hope you guys come back next week. Yeah, thanks for joining me, everyone. And I'll see you next week.